Imagine walking through the bustling markets of La Paz, surrounded by Andean music, the smell of roasted corn, and the colorful textiles of Bolivia's indigenous people. In the midst of this deeply Catholic and indigenous country, you notice something unexpected: a small mosque tucked between colonial buildings, the call to prayer faintly echoing against the Andean mountains. This is not a scene most people associate with Bolivia, yet it reveals a fascinating, lesser-known story: the history and present reality of Islam in Bolivia. Islam's roots in Bolivia are surprisingly deep, though its community remains small and often overlooked. The presence of Muslims here began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when waves of Arab immigrants, mostly from Lebanon, Palestine, and Syria, arrived in South America. These early migrants were fleeing the economic hardship and political instability of the crumbling Ottoman Empire. Like many Arab migrants who settled in neighboring countries such as Argentina and Brazil, a few families ventured into Bolivia, seeking new beginnings in cities like La Paz, Cochabamba, and Santa Cruz. In those early decades, religion was not the primary identity marker for these migrants. Many of them, especially the first generation, sought to assimilate and survive in their new home. Some were Muslim, others Christian, and most were identified simply as Turcos, a nickname used across Latin America to refer to immigrants from Ottoman lands, regardless of their actual ethnicity or religion. Over time, many of the early Muslim families integrated into Bolivian society, intermarrying and adopting local customs, and the distinct Islamic identity began to fade. It wasn't until the late 20th century, especially after the 1980s, that Islam in Bolivia began to re-emerge as a living faith rather than a forgotten heritage. This revival was partly fueled by global awareness of Islam and by a new wave of converts, Bolivians who, through personal study or contact with Muslim visitors, found spiritual meaning in the teachings of the Quran. Some were drawn by the discipline and moral clarity they saw in Islam. Others sought a faith that emphasized equality, community, and direct connection with God without intermediaries. By the early 2000s, small Muslim communities began to organize themselves more visibly. The first official mosque, the Centro Islamico Boliviano, was established in Santa Cruz, Bolivia's most economically dynamic city. Later, other prayer spaces emerged in La Paz and Cochabamba. These centers serve not only as places of worship but also as cultural bridges, where Bolivians can learn about Islamic traditions, Arabic language, and the global Muslim world. Yet being Muslim in Bolivia is not without challenges. Islam remains a minority faith in a nation where over 90% of the population identifies as Christian, primarily Roman Catholic. Many Bolivians have limited exposure to Islamic culture, and misconceptions persist. Some view Islam through the distorted lens of global media narratives, associating it with conflict or extremism. Others, however, approach it with curiosity and respect, especially as they meet Muslims in their local communities who live peaceful, modest lives. Despite their small numbers, estimates suggest there are only around 2,000 to 3,000 Muslims in the entire country. The Muslim community in Bolivia is remarkably diverse. It includes Arabs of Syrian and Palestinian descent, African migrants, students from the Middle East, and an increasing number of native Bolivian converts. These converts often face the unique challenge of balancing their indigenous or mestizo cultural roots with the practices of a faith that emerged in a very different part of the world. For example, a Bolivian Aymara convert may fast during Ramadan while also participating in local festivals that celebrate Pachamama, the Andean Mother Earth, navigating two spiritual worlds with grace and respect. Interestingly, Islam's values have found subtle harmony with aspects of Andean culture. The emphasis on community solidarity, respect for nature, and spiritual purity resonates with indigenous philosophies that center on balance and reciprocity. Some Muslim leaders in Bolivia even highlight these shared principles to promote interfaith understanding and cultural dialogue. In recent years, Bolivia's government, under its constitutional commitment to religious freedom, has acknowledged Islam as one of the recognized faiths of the nation. Muslims can freely practice, organize events, and educate others about their beliefs. However, there are still social barriers. Access to halal food is limited, Islamic schools are scarce, and Friday prayers often require rearranging work schedules in a country where the weekend falls on Saturday and Sunday. The internet and social media have also played a crucial role in connecting Bolivian Muslims with the wider Ummah, the global Muslim community. Through online lectures, Quran study circles, and virtual discussions, Muslims in Bolivia can now learn from scholars across the world and share their unique experiences as Latin American Muslims. This digital connection has helped strengthen identity and dispel feelings of isolation. One of the most striking features of Islam's story in Bolivia is its quiet persistence. Without large institutions, political power, or significant financial backing, Islam survives here through the dedication of small communities and individuals who find meaning in their faith and strive to live it authentically. Their mosques might be small, but they echo with sincerity and a sense of belonging that transcends geography. As Bolivia continues to modernize and diversify, the Muslim community's presence offers an important reminder that spiritual truth and cultural expression can coexist in unexpected places. Islam in Bolivia is not a story of conquest or mass conversion, but of coexistence, a testament to how faith adapts, survives, and even thrives in the most unlikely corners of the world. So, the next time someone asks where Islam lives in South America, remember that beyond the grand mosques of Buenos Aires or Sao Paulo, there is also the quiet call to prayer rising over the Andes. It's the sound of devotion carried on mountain air, a whisper of faith that has found a home in Bolivia. Thanks for watching the video.